Today I'm going to be showing you guys a map that Rockstar Games have gone on record saying they want to create, connecting all of the Grand Theft Auto cities in one big world. So this is a tweet that came from Leslie Benzies. Unfortunately, he's no longer working at Rockstar. He said, at some point, we would like to have one big world containing all our cities and let the player fly between them and revisit their favorite areas. And in that context, reimagining Vice City would be very interesting. So Rockstar have said that this is something they want to do. And today we're going to be looking at a couple of examples that would be absolutely perfect for that. So let's go ahead and dive into this, and let's not waste any more time. These concept maps I'm going to be showing you today are coming from a Reddit user, Colossus. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. This first one is every GTA city merged into the Grand Theft Auto 5 map. Los Santos, Liberty City, Vice City, San Fierro, and Las Venturas. So take a look at this right here. Now, geography is not going to make sense here, and the relationship of these cities to what they should be and where they should be in real life isn't going to work here, because this, of course, is a fictional island, and all the cities have sort of been slapped on here. But how awesome would this be? Now, before we get into even talking about this almost sort of solves the problem of GTA 5 not having like a lot to do in terms of stuff outside of the city. This kind of solves that issue, but let's start from the bottom and work our way up. As you guys can see, attached to the right side of Los Santos, we actually have Liberty City, which is really, really cool. You can see Mirror Park in the center there, which is awesome. It actually contains the middle island and the left-hand side island. It actually only doesn't include the island that has the airport, which makes sense because we already have a lot of other airports, which we'll take a look at once we get to the rest of the concept map. But I really like this. It essentially connects like the part of the city that would be ending and just sort of takes you on that stretch of highway. And now it includes Liberty City, which is really cool. And in my opinion, it sort of balances the city in a little bit. For the most part, everything takes part in either the middle or on the left-hand side. Not a whole lot goes on the right-hand side where those like big warehouses are. So that would actually be really cool in terms of balancing the city and making Los Santos a little bit more equal. Let's move up a little bit more. On the right-hand side of the map, you can see the ever-infamous Vice City. And this would actually be really cool because sort of the left-hand side of the island would work really well on land. And then you would sort of have the connector islands like Starfish Island. And then you'd have the beachfront properties, which would actually like sort of stick out of the water. That would be awesome. Being able to look onto land from like this beach right here, that would be so cool. Of course, it would include all the amenities that Vice City has to offer. Just like the Liberty City map at the bottom, I'm sure it would include, ammunition stores and clothing stores. For Liberty City, it would have car dealerships that you could go inside. I would imagine all of those features would be included. And same with Vice City, you would have all the things that made Vice City so great. I think what this really shows is just how small the original Vice City map was. I mean, look how fewer streets there are compared to the Liberty City one. Like, it is so less dense, which is kind of interesting. So that's Vice City right there. Really cool spot for that. Just a little bit further to the left, we have Las Venturas. So Las Venturas has basically engulfed Sandy Shores and has taken over that, which actually kind of works well because Las Vegas is basically in a desert anyways, and Sandy Shores really isn't anything of all that interesting as far as cities go. So replacing that with Las Venturas, that of course would include things like casinos and gambling and all the crazy fun landmarks. That would be super cool. And that would be an awesome location. You can see how big it is. It is right next to Mount Chiliad, and basically the entire shore of it is right on the Alamo Sea, which would be really cool as well. So that's another awesome idea right there, is to basically make that Las Venturas. And the final city, San Fierro, which essentially connects to the Fort Zancudo military base, which is kind of cool. Now, the only thing I don't love about this is you're kind of missing one of the most iconic pieces of San Fierro, which of course was the parody of the Golden Gate Bridge. So you don't get to see that there, but it does blend really nicely with the military base. And that's another thing I like about this concept map, is all the cities blend really seamlessly together. They don't look like they're out of place. They almost look like they could work. So that's San Fierro right there. It would be the most northern, biggest city. which again, I've stated this earlier, the geography of this really doesn't make sense, but I feel like this could be one of the more realistic approaches for Rockstar to do something like that. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys would expect Rockstar to create a map that looks like this, that's the entire United States, where, each quadrant is a major city, but that is a huge undertaking for Rockstar to do. It would obviously require lots of work, lots of manpower. I'm not even sure if consoles could even handle something like that. I know games like The Crew 2 do that pretty well, but with Rockstar's engine, you just never know. So maybe the map we're looking at right here would be a better alternative to ultimately solving that problem. Essentially having one island the size of what we have now, but incorporating multiple big cities. The only thing you'd really be missing is the geography. Like, for example, there's no way that Vice City would be, above the map north of Liberty City. If anything, they should almost be flipped. I feel like that would make the most sense right there. Now, in my opinion, a simpler way in which Rockstar could do this would just be to have all these cities in the game, but you would have to travel to them either by plane or by boat or by doing some sort of cutscene that takes you from one city to another. That's probably the most realistic route that Rockstar could take here, because having all of that on one island would probably make the game crash every couple of minutes, which obviously would not be great. Now, Colossus also has another variation of this. He has recreated the San Andreas map with modern Los Santos, essentially a GTA 5 map expansion. So take a look at this right here. As you guys can see, it is basically the lower third of the GTA 5 map, basically all of the city in the Vinewood Hills and a little bit of the beaches and more. And then to the left, you can see that's where we get sort of the San Andreas map take over. And that's where we would start to see San Fierro and, sort of the places a little bit south of that. And then to the north of it, you would see it immediately merges into Las Venturas in the desert. Now, this one is definitely a little bit less smooth. As you guys can see, everything is pretty much just connected with, 3 bridges that takes you from the GTA 5 part of the map to the San Andreas part of the map. But this is something that could work really well also. And honestly, I think this is almost more realistic, because not only does it make sense geographically, but it also makes sense in terms of the closest cities to each other. And since they're all connected by land, Rockstar doesn't have to make multiple maps. They don't have to make different ways of getting to them. You just fly, you boat, or you drive there, which would make that incredibly easy. Essentially, this would be like a modern day version of the map we had in GTA San Andreas, which did encompass all 3 of these cities: Los Santos, Las Venturas, and San Fierro, which were some of the best 3 most iconic cities in the GTA franchise. So that is the second version right there. And we sort of get a bonus today. Colossus has also created a full North Yankton concept map. Now, I also think this is one of the most possible and more likely map expansions, because Rockstar, for the most part, already have North Yankton built. They would just have to expand it a little bit more. So as you guys can see here, North Yankton is kind of its own little snowy island, which I think is cool. Now, this is the first time that I'm seeing this. I see 3 major cities, one to the very far right and then 2 on the left-hand side. I'm not sure which one is the original city. It is kind of hard to tell just a little bit, but you can see some major features there that include nice big mountain ranges. You can see a huge airport. I'm not sure if that's like a military base or something. There seems to be one giant lake on the south and then one smaller lake on the north connected by a massive river. All in all, this looks like just a pretty cool place to explore and check out. I feel like it wouldn't have to be a ton in terms of content, just another area for us to go to and hang out. And I think this could be ultimately a really cool place to do that in online, because Rockstar built North Yankton for basically 2 missions, the prologue and then when you go back in the mission Bury the Hatchet. So I think going back to North Yankton on a full-fledged completed map would be a ton of fun. I mean, I have a lot of fun on like the half-broken version where you can fall through the floor already. So if Rockstar created something like this, I think it would be a great addition to the game. And I think it's the most likely thing they could do for GTA 5. Again, probably a lot of the things I've touched on in this video would be better suited for a future GTA game. I don't think Rockstar is going to be doing anything that serious for GTA 5 this late in its life cycle, but that North Yankton thing could be interesting. especially if Rockstar took, just a little bit of time to, make the map a little bit better, a little bit more full. It could be a really cool place to go. So number one, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Which concept map did you think was better? The first one we looked at that had all the cities in one map, or the second one we looked at, which was kind of a San Andreas remastered of sorts? And also, what would you think about getting a North Yankton map expansion too? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.